There's a new siren in town, and we're not talking about the police. We're talking about something that is seen as mythical. And for many people in the Caribbean, this is seen as a Caribbean folklore that is told over the years. And I'm talking about mermaids because now many TikTokers are saying they have information about a new kind of party that is in town. Shonda Combs is behind bars. No more freak-offs. No more typical all-white party. They're upping the ante, or should I say they're diving deep so that they can get themselves a couple of mermaids to feast on. Why the heck would celebrities be secretly consuming mermaids? And yes, you heard that correct. Consuming mermaids, because there's a new wave of discussion on TikTok, and this is spreading even quicker than the California fires, because TikTokers are now saying they have first-hand information of celebrities having a new delicacy in a ritualistic style, and that is catching mermaids from the deep. And they're fishermen out there who actually are dedicated, specialized in hunting these mermaids, and big bucks are forked out in return. These mermaids are prepared and consumed at these ritualistic parties. But what does this mean? Because is mermaids even real? But for many of us in the Caribbean, we believe it is 100% factual. And there have been so many stories being told over the years, repeatedly, of the various encounters with mermaid. Let's take a look at this clip together of TikTokers reacting to the new trend, the new saga, or should I say the rather twisted delicacy, and then I'll get back with the rest of my commentary.
Told you that mermaids are real and what they really are. I 100% believe that the elites are eating mermaids, and I've actually been telling you this. When I say the elites, the reptiles, the real fallen angels that fell from heaven and became these diabolical Anunnaki, ancient Mesopotamia, Book of Enoch grifters, they exist. If you are not on the side.
Did they eat them raw? How many other times did he go out there? Where exactly was this restaurant at? Who are the elite that's doing this? Tell us more about the mermaids that they are eating.
Somebody told me a story about a company that catches really big fish, but they're not fish, okay? If you haven't seen my first mermaid and sirens video that I made the other day, it's the first pinned video on my page, or you're not going to understand this video at all. So like I said, they went back out on the water. They'd been out like 5 or 6 more times and hadn't seen anything until finally they did, but this time it looked different. Okay. And this one was a fighter. Now, I think it's fair to say that, you know, they fish normal fish, okay, because they have to have their cover up, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they have all of these fancy devices in Captain Burgess's office, or whatever you want to call it, his cabin, to where he actually has equipment to track these sirens down.
Okay, gotcha.
And like I said before in the video, he has a very specific clientele, and each one of them have, like, different things they are doing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The first one was a meal, but anyway. So they get the second one, they get the tank out there, they finally get her in it because she has got nails, you know what I mean? And she scratches one of the guys named Luke. We're going to call him Luke. But they finally get the mer woman, whatever you want to call it, siren, over in there, and she is thrashing. Like, she is not having it. The first one was docile. This one is not going. Now, in the process, like I said, she scratched the guy named Luke, and it was pretty deep. He's being attended to, whatever, off to the side. They're trying to get her to go all the way in so they can lock it down. And they end up damaging her. I think he said that what happened was her hand she was trying to claw her way out, and they slammed the lid, and when they did it, took them fingers off, all the tips of them. Now, this very specific set of clientele that was going to purchase her You know what I'm saying? They didn't want damaged materials. So they ended up having to find another buyer. Okay, Captain Burgess ended up having to find
They
another
didn't even
buyer
want
for
to
a
buy
damaged
it,
one.
buy her.
And when I say she was a fighter, like they were having to do every hour checks on this tank. This in a very specific
sounds
location.
oddly.
So each one of them would have to do a rotation.
Okay.
Conspiracy theories suggest that government and corporations are working together to keep the existence of mermaid hidden. But why? Because elites don't want to share them? They want to keep this precious resource for themselves? Some even claim that deep-sea exploration projects like those funded by tech billionaires aren't just about mining for minerals or the studying of marine life. They're about finding and harvesting mermaids. And if anyone gets too close to the truth, they're silenced permanently.
And they're going further off to an island to the new buyer or whatever that will accept a damaged siren. And so they're having to feed her. Mm-hmm. Now, don't ask me how they did it. He never actually said how they got the food to her, but they were feeding her. Well, Landon is already struggling with his humanity because of what happened to the last one, and it was a very docile one. And this one is not. And he said that he had to go in there and feed her, and that one of the fingers had grown back so they can self-regenerate. So he tells his cousin Travis, he's like, look, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, dude, and he was like, this is not one of those gigs that you can just walk in and walk out. That's not going to happen.
You stuck now.
So this particular buyer ended up being a big time military person within some type of, I don't want to say military. I don't think it was military, but it's one of them things that even presidents don't know about. You know what I mean?
And the answer to that would be no. I have no idea what she means. Do you guys know what she means? Now, this mermaid eating saga has been heating up so much that so many people have their own stories as to the twist turns and what is going on inside the industry.
If you didn't know, there's certain videos circulating around on TikTok talking about elites eating mermaids, and I just want to make this very clear, okay? Mermaids do in fact exist. First of all, you have to understand that certain elites, let's just say, aren't like us underneath their, let's just say costume. But aside from that, if you have the balls and confidence and a team that just so happens to have some soundproof equipment, as dumb as that may sound, you can actually hunt them in some areas of the ocean. The only reason that you don't know about shit like this is because you don't explore areas of the internet outside of just Googling shit, okay?
Hey, get on this. I've just gone to shop on a Sunday night, as you do, and I've just heard two people talking about the maddest shit you've ever seen, and then it gets even stranger. Allegedly, people in LA are having mermaid parties, and it's come out in the last few hours, but they're not what you think they're actually talking about. Can't believe I'm going to say it. Eating mermaids, and I've just done a tiny bit of research, and it's going around like wildfire all over.
And the many TikTok discussions, they don't just end there, because there's even videos telling you, should you be considering to consume mermaid? This is how you may want to go about doing it. Let's take a look.
We're going to talk about the finer points of eating mermaids. If you find this morally objectionable, you should swipe. And I'm not even sure where this falls. Is this cannibalism? Is it pescatarianism? Is it cannibalistic pescatarianism? There's a lot of syllables. Mermaids are generally regarded as half human, half fish, but we need to decide whether or not they're warm-blooded or cold-blooded. In this diagram of Ariel, they have fallen firmly on the side of warm-blooded because of the presence of mammary glands, lungs, and what appears to be a four-chambered heart. The reproductive system has maybe thankfully been omitted because we at least don't have to cross the bridge as to whether or not you could get caviar out of Ariel. But to bring us right back around to morally questionable, she does have a liver, so if we force-fed her, we could potentially get some mermaid foie gras. An odd thing happened while I was looking for these images. A lot of mermaid anatomical diagrams fall on the side of them being mammals, like air breathers. This would mean that we could infer that they would have behaviors similar to like whales or dolphins, orcas, stuff like that. This one made me oddly happy because they included gills and a more conservative, what looks like a more conservative two-chambered heart. So depending on the flavor profile that you're looking for, when you're hunting mermaids, you're going to want the ones with gills if you're looking for that fishy nuance. On the flip side, if you want the more meaty, full-flavored version, you're going to have an air breather. However, a word of warning, because of the presence of the lungs, this is also the version that would likely be able to siren sing you to your own demise.
Is he really being serious, or is it that he's tapping into the new wave of discussion? But from what history has detailed about mermaids, mermaids are considered to be sentient, intelligent beings with emotional capacity and the capability to communicate. So if that's the case, what they're currently doing to mermaids would be nothing short of a genocide. But then, if we're really being honest with ourselves, that's nothing new to mankind. As a matter of fact, I think it is right up our alley. But does it mean that if this is real, and if mermaids do exist, as many of us believe, could it be that celebrities are actually hunting down these creatures to consume as a part of their ritual? And if so, what does this ritual do for them? How do they stand to benefit and gain from this mythical, or should we say realistic, scary delicacy? I want to hear from you guys. What's your take? What is going on? And do you think that any of this is even remotely possible? While you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up, share, stay safe, and see you guys in the comment section. Peace.